Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to another What's in the Bag, Jay. Now, this is the segment where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, throw them in the bag, draw 2 out at random since we're still in quarantine, and do 2 reviews. Now, returning from last week is Plague, Hellgirl, He Never Died, The Curse of Lilith Ratchet, and making his debut this week is Boyne Falls and Voodoo Possession with Danny Trejo. Alright, let's give the bag a good tussle and let's see what we're watching this week. Start around a little bit. Alright, pick 1 is Plague. Alright, set that over here. Alright, pick 2 is Voodoo Possession. Now I'm going to set those both aside while I set the other movies side by side by side. Take my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die. See what comes back next week. Remember, if I roll a Freddy vs. Jason or a 5, I have to re-roll. 3. Alright. Let's give the bag another good tussle. Pick number 1 is He Never Died. Pick number 2 is Hellgirl. And pick number 3 is Boyne Falls. And now, if you want to see me review The Curse of Lilith Ratchet, see it make it back next week, definitely vote for this one. But right now, I'm going to go watch Plague and Voodoo Possession and come back with 2 reviews later. Well, I'm back. I just watched Voodoo Possession, and here are my thoughts. Voodoo Possession is a 2014 film, which runs approximately 94 minutes, and it was written and directed by Walter Bullholst. Now, he was responsible for the movie Thrust, and he did a bunch of shorts. Now, this stars Danny Trejo as the big star, of course. He plays Billy Cross, and to be honest, he's in it a little bit. I mean, he's maybe in 10 minutes of it, 15 minutes of it, which is usually more than a cameo. Now, of course, Danny Trejo was in From Dusk Till Dawn, Machete and Machete Kills, 3 from Hell, and The Devil's Rejects, just to name a few. This also stars Ryan Caltaglione as Adrian Chase. He was in The Big Year and The Vast Harbor. And Carrie Knupp as Bree Nelson. She was in Solve, Home, and a movie I watched just recently called No Malone. Now, I was talking to my buddy Hobbs, and we were kind of cracking up when we were messaging back and forth. And he's like, man, it doesn't seem like you've had a good movie to review in a while. Well, the streak continues. This movie sucks. It's just terrible. the worst part about it is the story was interesting. Okay, you have a brother of a guy who's a doctor, and he goes to Haiti in order to try and help people. He's had a rough upbringing, and you learn more about his upbringing and what him and the his brother had blocked out over the years, which makes it a interesting tale, in my opinion. But he goes to help these people, and he suddenly disappears. So it's his brother who has to go overseas and now look for him with his ex girlfriend. And there is a bunch of stuff that happens between the two of them. They used to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and then she was messing around with the brother, and the whole thing. Well, it turns out that these people are disappearing because there is a voodoo spell being put on some of the patients. This is like basically a rundown hospital, and they're just kind of fixing up rooms to use them as they see fit for their patients. One of their patients, Mr. Happy, and he's very creepy, he is involved in these voodoo spells. Now, he's, of course, schizophrenic, crazy, that kind of stuff. And he's performing voodoo. Well, the reason why these people disappear is because they try to explain it, and it doesn't really explain it very well, but there's different planes of the voodoo religion. You can disappear completely, you can disappear into the plane where you have a chance of getting back, or, you're in the real world. So he has to go to this other plane to try to find his brother, this other part of reality. Like I said, it had a very neat concept, but I felt like they were trying to put a little too much into the story, trying to explain a lot without really explaining everything. And it got a little bit confusing. Now, of course, Danny Trejo plays Billy Cross. Billy Cross was an orderly at the hospital, the psychiatric hospital, and he got involved with voodoo with these patients. He has a pretty interesting character in this one. But with the acting, they kind of seemed like they were all phoning it in to me. No one had any real chemistry. I don't know. The gore and the horror wasn't really first and foremost. There was nothing really scary about it. And to be honest, it was a struggle for me to get through. 94 minutes should not be a struggle to get through. And this one was. So, yeah, unfortunately, another stinker, but like the story goes, I watch bad movies so you don't have to. And I'll be coming up with the second review in a few. Well, I'm back with my second review. Now, this is the movie Plague. Plague is a 2015 film which runs approximately 89 minutes and is directed by two people, Nick Kozakis, who was responsible for Romeo and a bunch of shorts. It was also directed by Costa Azuzas. Now, he just did a bunch of shorts. Now, this stars Scott Marcus as John. He was in Teenage Kicks and a bunch of shorts. Tegan Crowley as Evie. She was in Maybe Tomorrow. Wolf. I don't believe it was the Wolf with Jack Nicholson. I believe it was a different one. And also a movie called So Long. And finally, Stephen Janai as Charlie, which I've seen this dude before, but I really couldn't find much on him. He just looks so familiar to me. I don't know why. Now, this is an Australian movie, and the majority of it was filmed in Victorian Australia. It was shot in 15 days, and it was the director's debut of both people. I would say that finally the streak is broken. While this is not a great movie, I did enjoy it. This is, see, when I did zombies last week, you had a zombie movie with a lot of kills and a lot of zombies, but no story. This one how do you make a zombie movie without zombies for the most part? Anyway, basically what you have is a group of people who have kind of holed up in this kind of shed or a barn kind of structure. The one girl, her husband was lost. He's not dead. You find out he's not dead, but he was lost when they escaped the house and they had to run to this barn because it was supposed to be their rendezvous point. She's not sure if he's dead. The rest of the people want to leave. They do end up leaving. She stays and waits for her husband, and he finally does show. Now, of course, the zombie apocalypse has happened, and when her husband gets there, they have a couple struggles. Like, he wants to kill himself because he doesn't want to be in the zombie apocalypse anymore. She, of course, takes that very personally and is not very happy with him, to say the least. Now, in comes Charlie. They basically have zombies pounding on the doors. This guy named Charlie comes up in a 4x4 and wipes out the zombies. Basically saves their lives. He convinces them that he can be trusted, and he starts to form a friendship with the couple. But Charlie has some sinister motives that I'm not going to get into. I pretty much said enough about this one. This is a character-driven story, kind of like The Walking Dead, only a very low-budget version of it, where you're just dealing with the characters. There's not really too many zombies, but you know that they're out there. It worked. I could have used more zombies in the film. I think you get maybe 10 to 15 of them, and a lot of people may say, well, that's a lot. But you don't really see all of them. You hear them banging on the door, walking down the road. You know, they could have basically used the same 10 zombies for every part of the film. And I think they did in a couple spots. So, but this movie actually worked really well. The acting, I thought, was really good. The gore, pretty decent. It told a good story. Now, this movie was recommended to me by Rob from Rob's Collection. I want to thank him for that. He did put this in his top 20 zombie movies. And I can understand why. It's very character-driven. It's very story-driven. And, you know, for the most part, I did enjoy it. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. And don't forget to vote for the ones that didn't make it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.